Hello and welcome back to another TJA economics video. Today we're going to be looking at the production process and the factors of production. One of the key ideas, one of the first ones that you're going to learn at the start of A-level and GCSE economics. So let's jump in then. The way that I like to explain the production process is by comparing it to a job. For example, a chef in a restaurant, when they prepare a meal, they have to do multiple things. They have to bring together lots of different elements. If they're cooking a stir fry, for example, they firstly have to chop up all of the vegetables and all of the meat they've got. They then have to, put it in a wok, throw in all their seasoning and their sauces and fry it up and make it all nice before finally plating it to make a delicious meal. As you can see, there are lots of different elements and lots of different parts that go into this process. And in a similar way, us economists like to say that when any firm produces a good or service, any good or service, they are combining a number of factors of production in order to do so. And we call this production, the combination of factors of production to create goods and services. But the important bit here is, what are those factors of production? Because any of the resources that go into making a good or service can be put into one of the four categories of factors of production. And they are land, labour, capital, and enterprise. The important bit to remember, any resource, no matter where it comes from and how it's used, can go into one of these four categories. And so let's look at what they are then. Our first category of factors of production is land, which we can define as the natural resources of our planet. Anything found in the land, on the land, below the land, or even above it counts as land, as long as it's a natural resource. Examples could be coal, oil, rainwater, forests, rivers, soil, even things like fish stocks in the sea, because they're natural resources. They count as land in the factors of production. Next up, our second category, we have labour. Simply put, the human, and that's the important part, the human input into the production process or the workforce of a firm, country or economy. The crucial part, like I say, is that it's the human input. Examples could be teachers, doctors, labourers, cleaners, police officers and ballerinas. They're all classed as labour because they are all sort of the human input into their respective production processes. Thirdly then, we have capital, which many people assume means money, but it's not that at all. The link between capital and money comes from finance, not economics. In economics, we define capital as anything man-made that is used to produce other goods or services. In this respect, what can we consider as capital? Maybe hammers, screwdrivers, other tools, laptops, pencils, tractors, machinery, all that kind of man-made stuff that we use to make other stuff. And then lastly, we come to the one that I find students seem to struggle with the most, enterprise. And I think that's because it's not physical, it's not tangible. Indeed, we define it as an individual who organises the other factors of production and risks money in a business venture. Think of this as, Bill Gates or Richard Branson, those kind of entrepreneurs, Alan Sugar, for example. So, as an example, let's go back to our restaurant example from earlier and categorise all of the resources needed to make all of the food. Firstly then, under land, the natural resources that we use, we could have all of the fruits and vegetables in the food. Any meat would come under here too, as animals are considered a natural resource. Potentially even the water used to boil any food or in any sort of cooking. The gas used to fire up the hobs, ovens and grills would all be land because they are natural resources being used in the production process of this kitchen. Under labour, think of all the people working in the restaurant. We could have the chefs in the kitchen, of course, but also plenty of other staff. The waiting staff in the front of the house, the dishwashers if they do them by hand, any meters and greeters at the front of house. Maybe even in a fancy restaurant, you may even have sommeliers or specific pastry chefs. The human part of this restaurant is the labour. For capital, in a firm like a restaurant, we're thinking of things like the cookers, the fridges, the freezers in the kitchen, the machines, any knives and other kitchen utensils that the chefs may use, the credit card readers and the computers that the waiting staff may use, and even, I suppose, the cutlery and the crockery that the customers use could be capital as well. And then lastly, enterprise part of the business. Who in the restaurant has invested the money, taken risks, and is, ultimately responsible for organising the other factors of production? Well, of course, it's the owner of the restaurant. Whoever has founded the restaurant, set up the restaurant, and runs the restaurant, it's them who forms the enterprise of this firm. So let's do some practice then. I'll show you 5 factors of production used in a production process, and then I'll give you a chance, I'll give you a couple of seconds to say which category they fall into before I show you the answer. So let's go. Number 1, a combine harvester on a farm. Is it land, labour, capital, or enterprise? Are you ready? Off you go. Of course, it's capital, it's man-made, and we use the combine harvester to make other things. Number 2, what about a footballer playing for his football team? Are you ready? Off you go. Of course, he's labour. He is the human input into the production of the service of football, as it were. Number 3 then, let's crack on. Our fishing stocks in the North Sea. What are they? Off you go. They're land, of course, as they are a natural resource. Fish, despite being in the sea, are considered land. Number 4 then, the Amazon owner and founder Jeff Bezos is the CEO, but not going to be CEO for long. What's he? He represents enterprise, of course, as he's the one who risked the money, organised the other factors to set up and run Amazon. Lastly then, number 5, what about the airports that we use to fly around the world? What do you think they are? You may be tempted to say land, but they're capital. At the end of the day, airports aren't natural, they're man-made. We have built them, and so they come under capital. So, toss up your score, give yourself a mark out of 5, and we'll move on. Right then, so today we've looked at what the factors of production are, we've looked at what the production process is, we've looked at how the production process combines the factors of production, and we've looked at how we can categorise any resource into the 4 categories: land, labour, capital, and enterprise. If you found this a useful video and you think you've improved your understanding, please do leave a like and remember to subscribe, and leave a comment down below or contact me on my socials if you'd like any recommendations or you have ideas for future videos. So yeah, do let me know, and I'll see you next time.